Hey guys, Josh here, and I just finished playing my first year in Ova Magica. So in this video, I'll be telling you 10 tips and tricks I learned along the way, so you can get the most out of your time with this new farming game and avoid some of the mistakes I made. Before we start, keep in mind that Ova Magica is currently in early access, so some things could change here and there, but if any of these tips stop working, I will make sure to write it down in the comments and in the description to let you know. Let's start by the beginning. When you arrive in Clover Town, you will be asked to pick a starter blob. There's a forest blob, a storm blob, and a magma blob to choose from, and the people at the blog league will tell you about their personality. You might also be tempted to pick one based on their color, but don't neglect the importance of their type. Magma is strong against forest, forest is strong against storm, and storm is strong against magma. This is extremely important, and if you want to do well in battles, you will need at least one of each type. Forest type blobs are the most common ones. Most of the blobs that are easy to get at the beginning of the game are forest types, so it's not really worth going for forest as a starter, as you will have a ton of them. Storm blobs are a bit more rare. I went with storm for my starter, but after a few days I got a free storm type blob, this adorable snowman, in my mailbox as a thank you from the developer for having played the demo. So if you have also played the demo, even if you're starting a new save file, you will get this snowman. For this reason, it's not really worth starting with the storm type if that's the case. Lastly, we have the magma types, and for these ones, as far as I know, there's no way to get them as easily as the other two. I was stuck with tons of forest and storm blobs, but I only got my first magma blobs, 2 of them, on the very last day of my first year. Having no magma blob made it quite difficult to progress in the story or to battle against certain characters, and I really wish I had obtained one earlier. So my advice is, if you have played the demo, go for magma, as you will get the other 2 very easily, and if you have not played the demo, you could either pick storm or magma, but as cute as the forest blob is, it's not really worth it. Once you pick your blob and arrive on your farm, you will see that you don't have a house, so building one will be one of your very first tasks, along with talking to the mayor and meeting all of the villagers. It took me so long before I decided to build my house, as I kept using materials for other things, and honestly, I was fine living in my tent. But I started seeing more and more blueprints and quests that required ingots, and I could not figure out how to get the blueprint to build a furnace and to make those ingots. Well, after a few weeks, I eventually did build my house, and the very next day, Charoy gave me the blueprint for the furnace. This will be very important if you want to upgrade your tools or make any sort of progress in this game, so if you're wondering how to get a furnace, like I did, just build your house. And then you might be wondering, how do you get ores in the first place? Well, if you look at the calendar, you will see that on the first day of week 2 and on the third day of week 3, every month, there will be a meteor shower. From 9 PM to midnight, shooting stars will fall down and will have a chance to drop copper ores. It doesn't matter too much where you are. You could be in the town center, around the valley, on your farm, or somewhere else, and the stars will fall continuously for those 3 hours. Just keep an eye on the clock, as if you are not in bed by midnight, you will pass out and all of your actions the following day will consume double the amount of energy. For this reason, it could be a good idea to stay not too far from your farm, but the main thing to remember is to not go to bed too early on those days, as you would miss out on a lot of free copper ores. Another way to get ores is, as with any good farming game, by going to the mines. For some reason, I saw the cave that was blocked off on my farm. I have not been able to open it yet, but I just assumed that it would be the only way to get to a proper mine. I was getting coal from the large stones on my farm, coppers from the shooting stars, and it took me nearly 2 months to realize that there was a mine on the east part of town. There's not too much to do there, which is why I rarely went, but just cross over to the other side of the train tracks, turn right, keep going, and you will see the mine at the end of the road. There are a few wild blobs inside, so getting all of the ores might be a bit challenging at first, but there are a few that can be mined without having to engage in combat, and the ores regenerate after a few days. You will need lots and lots of ingots in this game, and 5 ores make 1 ingot, so don't forget to go there regularly. Also, if you end up catching some cans while fishing, don't make the same mistake I did of selling them, as you can get iron ingots by melting the cans in the furnace. I would have probably found the mine earlier if I remembered that the map could be opened by pressing M on the keyboard, and there is a big mine icon that shows exactly where it is. But that's not all that the map shows. It also indicates where each of the characters you can befriend are located at any time, and if you have not talked to them yet on that day, a yellow heart will appear. Make sure to talk to everyone every day for easy relationship boost, especially since this game strongly encourages making friends. Once you maxed out a relationship level with someone, wait a day or two and you should find on the map a heart-shaped icon with their face. Go there and you will trigger an event that will not only let you get to know the character a bit more, but in many cases will reward you with either new important quests. For example, Emerald will ask you to build a museum, or you could even get cool items such as this steamboard from Jasper that allows you to travel a lot faster. So you can get some friendship points by talking to characters every day, but you can also get extra points by challenging them in a battle. Some characters like Lapis and Lazuli won't accept to battle you, at least not at the beginning. Others will also refuse if they're busy, like if they're working, but other than that, ask anyone. Whether you win or lose, you will get a friendship point, and if you don't really feel like fighting or you want to preserve the health of your blobs, you can simply escape as soon as the battle starts and you will still get your friendship point. That being said, I would recommend actually battling as much as you can, as that will train your blobs, and if you win, you will be rewarded with an item, which changes depending on the character. You can also battle against most of the characters in this game, not just the ones you can befriend, which is a good way to train your blobs even more and get a ton of items. Speaking of training your blobs, let's quickly go over how it works. Each blob has 5 main stats, so there is health, energy, attack, defense, and casting speed, and each of these stats is increased independently. To increase health, just look at a blob while holding shift if you're playing with a keyboard, and there you will see 3 foods that your blob is craving. Give your blob any of these and its health will increase permanently. To increase a blob's energy, play a minigame with your blob using the toy that they're craving. Most toys can be bought from Flint and they are a bit expensive at the beginning of the game, but they can be used over and over again. Cravings reset every day, so make sure you have a look at them daily, especially the food, as extra health will be extremely helpful. Then we have attack, defense, and casting speed, which are represented by a sword, a shield, and a clock respectively. It took me a while to figure this out, but each skill has an icon that corresponds to one of these stats. So for example, if a skill has a shield icon, it doesn't mean that it's a defensive skill, which is what confused me at first, but it means that if you use the skill enough times and the bar fills up to 100%, your blob will gain an extra defense point. This encourages you to use different skills, and ideally the best blobs for combat will have at least one skill of each type so they can increase all of their stats. If you're wondering what power means, it's just the total sum of attack, defense, and casting speed together. If you would like a complete guide just about blobs and breeding, let me know, as there's a lot to cover. There are also a few things I'm still figuring out, but for now, just remember to use your different skills and look at your blob's cravings every day. Another thing you should do every day is to roll the health wheel. In the town square, speak with Ryan, roll the wheel for free, and get a chance at winning some seasonal fruits and vegetables, and if you're very lucky, an egg for a kiwi blob. If you already have a kiwi blob or don't want it, you can also sell the egg for a good amount of money. During other seasons, you will find more daily activities at the plaza, like these girls that you can trade with, or even free presents you can pick up for the New Year countdown. So no matter the time of year, make sure to check out what's happening in Clovertown. Activities in Clovertown are not the only things that change throughout the year. On the first of each month, all forageable items from the previous month will disappear and new ones will appear. For this reason, during the last 2 days of the month, I always make sure to go around every area and pick up everything that's left. Typically, I keep the items that don't give too much health or stamina for my blobs in the barn, since they will eat pretty much anything. Some of the best items I keep for my character and my combat blobs, and any extra stuff I just sell. It also took me quite some time to realize that on the beach, there are tons of oysters to pick up. These can be good to have, as sometimes your blobs will crave them, but I've been selling them for the most part and they are a pretty good source of income. Oysters do appear in every season, but like everything else, they do reset on the first of the month. So you can pick them up before the month ends, and once the new month starts, they will be all over the beach again, so don't miss out on those and make sure to pick them up regularly. One little detail to keep in mind is that on the last day of the month, you will not be able to access the beach as the fast travel will be disabled and certain areas will be completely blocked off because of the festivals. So while you can easily forage on your farm or in the valley on the last day, I would recommend doing the town, the beach, and the train areas a day earlier. For my last tip, I think I could probably make a whole video just about festivals, but I wanted to talk specifically about the Spooky Moon Festival as I almost completely messed it up in my first year. This event happens on the 4th day of the Ceres season, and you can get these tickets to trade in for spooky items and a pumpkin blob. One way to get these tickets is by defeating the monster blobs that are invading the streets. I managed to defeat one group, I got 2 tickets, but my blobs were not that strong and I was about to give up and just go back home. But before I did, I talked with Opal and she offered me a healing soak in these boiling cauldrons, which replenished all of my team's health and energy. I made the mistake of taking the bath twice in a row. I wanted to see if there was a limit. And yes, it turns out you can only take the bath 3 times, so do it when absolutely necessary. You can fight some monsters, take a bath when you need it, and repeat for more tickets. You will also see these floating jack-o'-lanterns, and at first I thought they were only decorative, but you can destroy them with your axe to get even more tickets, and getting that pumpkin blob shouldn't be too difficult. So these are 10 tips and tricks I learned during my first year in Ova Magica. If you have also been playing the game, feel free to share any tips you have in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more Ova Magica content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.